You might experience a few moments where you wake up at night and say, holy cow. Then a few months are going to go by. You're going to hear from your son. You're going to start thinking, that was a great decision. Then a year or maybe two is going to go by. You're going to find yourself so full of pride. And you'll know you did the right thing.
I was feeling like at his stage in his life, it was kind of a gamble. He'd either mature or not. And I didn't want to play Russian roulette with my child.
You probably know as a parent, you do anything you can for your kid. And we didn't have the option of public school. That would never have gotten him where he needed to be.
Everybody always wants to know, well, what was Ethan doing, right? And the fact of the matter is, it was everything he wasn't doing, right? It was the fact that he wasn't trying, he wasn't studying hard, he wasn't trying to get great grades to get into a great school. He wasn't putting 100% of himself into his sports and wasn't really developing as a leader.
This school teaches the whole person. It teaches honor, character, courage, responsibility, duty, things like duty. Kids don't learn that in other places anymore.
I'm an educator, my husband is an educator, so we're really, we have high standards and we have not been disappointed at all.
The ancillary benefits that you get from Riverside are the quality of men and the quality of people all around that he's subjected to.
The teachers are very, very engaged, and part of that is because the class sizes are super small. And part of it is because everybody here is kind of following the same mission, right? So this isn't just about a job for those teachers or the other administrative staff here. It's about, trying to build young men, and that is absolutely what this place is all about.
The teachers are genuinely concerned about what my son is doing.
You can have rigorous curriculum, but if you don't have a motivated student or someone who's ready for that curriculum, you're not going to go anywhere. It's not always about the content, it's about everything else. And I think Riverside is the answer in so many ways for all those other variables that need to set a student or a citizen on the right path.
Not to be overlooked is the opportunity for leadership that many young men in the ages 14 to 18 just don't get. If they do get, it may be 1 in 50 or 1 in 100, but here there's many opportunities for that leadership, and that absolutely pays off dividends.
I've watched these guys accepting responsibility and that you just don't get in a traditional high school setting.
His posture is amazing. He's just carrying himself with exponential confidence than I would have ever imagined just in this short time.
They've been taught a lot by a lot of people, but once they're leading 60 boys or 80 boys or whatever, now they're really learning because they're leading.
This is everything that we were looking for, from the structure and the discipline to the sense of camaraderie, like you said, with the other cadets, but also character building. All of that is what we get here.
This school is doing wonderful things for so many cadets. I hear it over and over and over when I talk to other parents.
The qualities of integrity, honesty, comradeship, competition, leadership, all of those qualities are still very present here, as it was 60 years ago when I was a cadet at the old Riverside.
The sacrifices that we've made by him not living in our house with us are way outweighed by the results that we see.
If you can provide the best opportunity for your child to become confident, to have morals, to have ethics, to have integrity, and push themselves farther and not be afraid when something gets difficult, and instill that sense of grit, and grit is what is necessary for success, That's what Riverside's about.
You've got to know that the quality of at least some of the young men here is off the charts. And then if you go look at all the universities that these kids are going to when they graduate, you have to know that this place is doing something special, right?
If you're looking for a place that has really strong academics, excellent leadership and character development as a focus, and fostering that sense of camaraderie, I think this is the place.
Do you have what it takes?
감당할 수 있습니까?
¿Tienes lo que se necesita?
Сможешь ли ты?
Tens o que se necessita?
你有勇气吗？
You have what it takes!
Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to Riverside Military Academy. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Kenny Payne, and I'm here to give you a little brief about our military model. The mission of Riverside Military Academy is to prepare young men of character for success in college and their life adventures. We develop the whole person by using moral reasoning, time management, accountability, sound judgment, and leadership skills. We teach the Army's 7 values: loyalty, duty, honor, respect, selfless service, integrity, and personal courage. In JROTC, our mission is for these young men to become productive citizens and lead by example. We have the 4-time national championship Raider team that overcomes a mental and physical test of strength, endurance, and is committed young men willing to train hard using challenging obstacles and other courses. We have a drill and color guard team which displays some of our best discipline. This is practiced daily during a passing review. It is for accountability and passing out information. Our passion in JROTC is to move these young adults to the next level and to be confident that they will succeed.
Run Yi Leo Wong.
In 3rd grade, my grades started to drop. And, you know, in Asia, grade is a pretty big evaluator of you as a whole person. I didn't really enjoy school that much. The only part I looked forward to every day was lunch and going back home, because there wasn't much in school that keep me interested.
If you start with the idea that the relationship is central to learning, what you're able to do is to dig into exercises, activities, and content that force a conversation, that force interaction, that allow for boys to engage in the kinds of things that they like to do.
When I first came in 7th grade, I was only supposed to be here for 1 semester. As I progressed through my first semester here, I met some really great people. I met Master Stern Bagwell, who was teaching me 7th grade world studies back then. And I met Chief Green, my first TAC officer, when I was in 7th grade and in Alpha Company. And it was that interaction that really prompted me to stay.
Run Yee's first day at Riverside was as a 7th grader in my world history class. And he was kind of petrified and spoke, his English was passable, but it wasn't at a very high level. He was very nervous and very shy, and he's been in my class ever since.
We try to design a curriculum and a program here that allows teachers the opportunity to develop relationships with their students, to engage in intentional relationship building gestures.
This is a new place. This is a new beginning for me, and I was gonna take full advantage of it.
I saw in Run Yee something that I think when you see in any student, you know it's the feature, it's the ingredient, the main ingredient for success, and that he had that no-quit attitude.
I started to talk to teachers. I started to interact with them. I started to ask them for help.
My role in mentoring and teaching is to find a way to make young men care about what we're doing and what we're learning.
How many people won the Medal of Honor? He actually said a number. Do you remember?
Academics is the main priority here at Riverside. So everything we do is around academics, for academics.
My goal has always been academic mastery and basic skills, because I believe once a foundation is built, then you can build mastery, you can build art, you can build sophistication, and you can build excellence.
To me, they're more than teachers. They are more like mentors, a friend even. They're there to support me. When I'm struggling in academics, they would go out of their way to explain it in many different ways until I can understand.
Use this point slope formula. Point slope formula.
We have very small classes. We're usually maxed out at 18, but the reality is most classes don't have that many students in. And so you can't hide here, and the teacher knows who you are, and the teacher's able pretty quickly to learn what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, where do you need to be pushed. And so it forces you to engage more fully in the learning experience.
We have broken the boundary between traditional teaching and a mentor.
I've certainly seen him grow in confidence. I've seen him grow in competence. I've seen his leadership skills more than anything, because again, for a shy person to assume a role of leadership, especially where he is today as battalion commander, that's a lot of growth.
I think he's one of the best BCs the school's ever had. He's the most organized, he has the best integrity, the most motivation.
So he's a lot more confident. He's a lot more comfortable in his own skin. He's a lot more comfortable understanding where he's strong and where he needs help.
He has taken on, in the time that I've known him, academic classes that I know he didn't feel he could handle. He has taken on athletics, which he was not originally a very athletic young man. He just reaches for challenges.
We are about to do something unprecedented at this school. It's been done once in the last 20 years.
The Commandant of Cadets hereby appoints this cadet a colonel to rank as such on the 3rd day of May, 2018.
He started out as this sort of young, naive cadet, very intelligent, very bright. You could tell right from the get-go he had something special. But he was willing to learn, and he was willing to listen, and he would never quit.
Basically, the school furnished him grounds to grow that I don't think he'd have gotten any other place.